the Trade Assist Prop Firm Plus TF Expert Advisor, which has been offered for various platforms on the TradingFinder website. From this section, you can download the Expert Advisor file for MetaTrader 4 and MetaTrader 5 platforms and run it on the chart. Additionally, traders can read this page to learn about the functionality and operation of the Expert Advisor. From the Navigator section, we select the Expert Advisor file and run it by dragging the file onto the chart. We go to the Common tab, and in this section we enable the options Allow DLL imports, Allow import of external experts, and finally Allow live trading. We enter the Input section, and here we need to enter the dedicated license code. To obtain the dedicated license code, we go to the TradingFinder website and can get the license code from the support section. Then enter it here. Just make sure to note that the license code you receive is only valid for that specific device, and the code you receive will not work on other devices. Here, I enter the license code and then click on the Confirm button. By clicking the Confirm button, the Expert Advisor runs on the chart for me and displays a Trade Management and Capital Management panel. The Trade Assist Pro Firm Plus TF Expert Advisor is a specialized tool that allows traders to enter buy trades, sell trades, and register their own buy and sell pending orders. Pro-form traders can easily control their emotions and excitement in the market using this Expert Advisor and customize the expert settings based on their trading strategies. They can also avoid unnecessary losses and turn their trades into consistent profitability. This Expert Advisor easily has the ability to guide traders towards sticking to the principles of their trading plan. By clicking on the panel option, I can easily move it around on the chart. Or by clicking on the cross option, a warning is displayed for me. And by selecting yes, the Expert Advisor will close, and by selecting no, the Expert Advisor will remain on the chart. The next option is the Minimize option, which, when clicked, reduces the Expert Advisor to its minimum size and only displays the remaining time until the current candle closes. At the bottom there are three tabs, the Trade tab, the Visual tab, and the Money Management tab. Using the Trade tab, I can execute my trades and manage them accordingly. Here there are buy and sell options along with pending buy and pending sell options. In the lower section, I can set the trade entry volume, and below that I can specify the placement of my stop loss and take profit for each trade. For example, here I set the volume to 100 of a lot, and I also activate the stop loss or take profit here so that my trade has both a stop loss and a take profit. Opposite the stop loss section, there are options for points, percentage, and dollars, which determine how my stop loss is set. By selecting the points option, I can set the number of points for my stop loss in this section, which by default is set to 100 here, meaning my stop loss is set based on 100 points. Or I can choose the percentage option, and if I enter a number here, my stop loss will be set based on a percentage of my balance. Here, I have entered the number 1, so my stop loss is set based on 1% of my balance. In the next section, there is the dollar option. Here, I can enter a dollar amount, meaning my stop loss will be set based on the dollar amount entered in this section, or the $1,000 I have entered here. The next option is related to take profit, which, just like stop loss, has point, percent, and dollar options. So I can set the take profit based on these choices. And there is also an additional option here where I can set the take profit based on R2R or risk to reward. If my stop loss is set based on points, percent, or dollars, and I enter a value in the R2R section, my reward will be determined according to my risk. Here I want to enter a trade. I select stop loss based on points and enter the amount of $1,000 here. I also want the take profit to be based on risk to reward, so I set the value to 2, which means my take profit will be set at twice my stop loss. Here I enter a sell trade. In this section, you see the stop loss price level and the amount of loss I would incur if my stop loss is triggered. Here is the entry price level for my trade. My profit or loss is displayed in this section, and below that you can see the take profit price level along with the amount of profit I would make if the price reaches the take profit level. Here we can see the amount of $10, which is determined based on my stop loss points. That means 1,000 points have been set in this section, and my take profit is set at twice the stop loss, or 2,000 points. And my loss and profit amounts are also determined based on this. In the entry point section, there are options available for us that allow us to manage our trades, including break-even, partial close, trailing stop, and close trade. The first option is for break-even, and if the price enters the profit zone, we can use this option. By clicking on this section, my stop loss will be set at my entry point. Just make sure to pay attention to 2 points in this section. The first point is the amount by which the price enters your profit zone, which should be above the stop level. You can see the stop level in the Market Watch section and for your selected symbol. Here I am on the BTC USDT symbol. By right-clicking on this section and selecting the specification option, you can view the stop level. The price must be above the stop level for the stop loss, based on the stop level, to be set at the entry point. In the money management section, we can set the break-even level here, and here as well, we can choose based on points, percentage, or dollars. The next option is related to partial close, where by clicking on this option, 50% of my trade volume will be closed. Currently, I have entered with a volume of 1/100th of a lot. So by clicking on the partial close option, my trade will only be closed and no volume will be removed from it. We saw the trade entry limitation in this section. Let me change some of the limitations. We'll enter a trade again. The next option is related to the trailing stop. By selecting this option, if the price is in profit, it will move my stop into my profit zone, and after that, it will automatically move my stop to protect the profits from my trade. And the last option is related to closing, and by selecting this option, my trade will be closed. If we have already entered a trade end at this point, let me go ahead and carefully enter a one lot amount for demonstration purposes. I'll enter a trade. You can see the size of my trade here. By selecting the partial close option, 50% of my trade volume will be closed. With another click, another 50% will be closed, bringing it down to 0.25 lots. With another click, it becomes 0.19 lots, 0.06 lots, 0.03 lots, 0.01 lots, and finally, if it can't close anymore, it will close the trade for me. The next options are related to pending buy and pending sell orders. If I place a pending sell order, I can set the pending level. And the expert advisor automatically detects whether it's a pending limit or stop order and sets it for me. To set a pending order, by selecting the no option, the pending order is cancelled. And by selecting the SS option, the pending order is set for me based on the settings I've configured in this section. The trade volume is selected for me. The stop loss or take profit is also displayed accordingly. For a pending buy order, I can set my pending order in exactly the same way. By selecting the SS option, I can easily set my take profit and stop loss. Now we move on to the second tab, which is the visual tab. In this tab, there is the visual order option. By selecting this section, a visual mode is displayed for me, which I can easily move around on the chart. With this tool, we can easily set the risk to reward range, where we can see the entry point, trade volume, entry price level, and the risk to reward ratio. In the stop loss section, which is marked in red, you can see my stop loss price and the amount of loss if the price reaches this level. And in the lower section, you can also see the take profit price level and the take profit amount. Here you can set your level by moving this tool, and by clicking on the buy pending or sell pending option, you can set your pending orders in this section. In the lower section, information about the open price stop loss and take profit is also displayed, so you can see the stop loss and take profit amounts here as well. Here I set a sell pending order, and as you can see, the pending order was set for me. If my stop loss is above the entry point and the take profit is below it, I need to place a sell pending order. If I select buy pending, the visual mode will be disabled for me, and it won't set the pending order. By setting the pending order, the expert advisor automatically determines whether it should be a limit or stop order. Here we can simply see the type of trade, buy limit, and buy stop. The last tab is related to money management, where we can select the break-even option, which offers 3 modes: points, percentage, and dollars. If we select the points mode and the price moves more than this amount into profit, the break-even will be executed automatically for us, and the stop-loss level will be set at our entry point. By default, the value here is set to 100 or 100 points. If I select the percentage mode and enter a percentage value here, then based on that percentage, if the price moves into profit and surpasses the profit threshold, the expert advisor will automatically set my stop loss to the break-even point, or if I choose the dollar mode and enter a dollar amount, here for example, $100, if the price moves into profit by more than $100, the expert advisor will automatically set my stop loss at the break-even point. The next option is related to the trailing stop, which consists of two parts here, the trail start and the trail step. The trail start refers to the moment when we've entered a trade and the price has moved beyond the profit threshold. If I enter the number 150 here and set the trail step to 100, just to make it clearer, if my entry point is at this section and the price moves into the profit zone by 150 points, the trailing stop mode will be activated for me, and if my stop loss is set at this point, it will be placed at a distance of 100 points from the trailing start value. In other words, when the price moves 150 points into the profit zone, the expert advisor will automatically set the stop loss distance from the price based on 100 points. And it will be set at a 100-point distance. And again, if the price moves upward, the distance between the price and the stop will be set according to the step. That means no matter how much the price moves, the stop loss distance from the price will be set to 100 points for us. If the price reaches this distance, the stop loss will also move along with the price based on 100 points. The next options are related to close all, break all, and close pending. If I have executed several trades here and I want to close all of my open trades at once, I can simply select the close all option. By choosing this feature, every open trade I currently have will be closed automatically in a single step. This means I do not have to spend time closing each trade individually, which can be tedious and time-consuming, especially when there are many trades open. Using the close all option makes managing multiple trades much more convenient and efficient, ensuring that all positions are closed quickly and nothing is left open by mistake. Pending orders are instructions I have set up in advance to buy or sell an asset at a specific price, but these orders have not yet been executed. Sometimes I may want to cancel these orders if market conditions change or if I change my trading strategy. In such cases, I can use the Close Pending option on the trading platform. By selecting this option, all of my pending orders that are still open will be closed, meaning they will not be executed in the future and will be removed from my list of active orders. And finally, there is the Break All option, which will break even all trades that are eligible, moving the stop loss to the break-even point for me. The last option in this tab is related to the AP or Account Protector option, which, when selected, opens a new tab for us. In this panel, 7 new tabs are provided for us, through which we can protect our account and funds. The first tab is related to volume, where we can set different volumes based on our strategic system and trading plan, so that we are not allowed to enter a trade with more than the specified amount. And in this way, we can control our trade entries based on our emotions and excitement. The next section is related to time, where in this tab we can enter trades based on a specified time frame. And outside of that time frame, we are not allowed to enter any trades. The next section is about profit and loss, where we can set our daily and weekly profit and loss limits. The next tab is related to symbols, where we can set the specific symbols we want to trade on. By using this tab, we can improve and better discipline our trading activities. The next tab is related to trades, where we can view account information. The sixth tab is for take profit and stop loss, and the last tab is for news. In the first tab, I have changed its numbers here, because it shows me the daily and weekly limits. The first option is related to the maximum entry size for each trade. So here I have set the number. If I set a 0.1 lot size and want to enter a buy trade, the expert advisor will issue a warning telling me that I am not allowed to enter the trade. This is because I am trying to enter a trade with a size greater than the allowed limit, and it does not permit me to enter the trade. The next option relates to the maximum daily trade entry size. If I set the value to 1 lot here and try to enter a trade with 1.5 lots, again the expert advisor will issue a warning and will not allow me to enter the trade. Here I set the value to 5, as you can see. It does not allow me to exceed the daily limit. The next options are related to the maximum number of daily trades. For example, I am only allowed 5 trades in a single day, and based on this, I can stick to my trading plan more effectively. The next two options are related to sequential loss and sequential profit. For example, if I enter the number 3 here and also enter 3 for profit, it sets a limit for me on how many consecutive losses or consecutive wins I can have in a single day. Since I have set the number 3 here, it only allows me to have 3 consecutive losing trades in a single day. And here I am only allowed to have 3 consecutive winning trades. The next section is about the maximum trade size allowed per week. The next section is about the maximum number of trades allowed per week. And the following 2 sections are related to max weekly consecutive loss and max weekly consecutive profit, where we can set the maximum number of consecutive losses in a week and the maximum number of consecutive wins in a week. The next tab is related to the time tab. Let me just change the limit values here. We enter the time tab, where we can set a time range for entering a trade. Using this section, we can set a restriction for ourselves to prevent entering trades during low volatility hours or low volume periods. In the first section, we can set the start time and end time for the restriction period. In the lower part, we can enable or disable our desired trading days. Also, in the section opposite, we can set the start and end time of the restriction for each specific trading day so that we can only enter trades within the limits we define. Right now, it is 12 noon here, and in this section, I am now setting the start time of the restriction period to begin at exactly 1 p.m. And if I try to enter a trade at any time outside the specified range, a warning will be issued for me. This restriction prevented my trade from being executed. The next tab is related to the profit and loss tab, where we can set a limit for daily profit and loss, as well as weekly profit and loss. In this section, by enabling each checkbox, you can activate or deactivate the corresponding setting. In the lower section, we can choose the daily profit amount based on percentage, pips, or dollars. Here I select the daily profit based on 2%. I set the daily profit amount to 1,000 pips, and for dollars I set it to $500. This means that if on a trading day I want to make more than 2% profit, the expert advisor won't allow it, and I can make a maximum of 2% profit. I can make up to 1,000 pips in profit, or at most, I am allowed to earn $500 in profit. The next section is related to the daily stop loss, where we can also set it based on percentage, pips, or dollars. The following section concerns the maximum weekly profit, which can be set based on percentage, pips, or dollars. And finally, the maximum weekly loss, which can also be selected based on percentage, pips, or dollars. The next section is related to the symbol, where we can set the trading status for each symbol. And there are 4 options available here. The first option is current chart. If I enable this option, I can only enter trades on this specific chart, and I won't be allowed to trade on any other charts or symbols. If we select the next option, all charts, it will consider all the charts that I have open at the bottom, and I am only allowed to trade on the symbols that I have opened in that section. The next option is related to Market Watch. And we can use all the symbols listed in Market Watch for analysis and entering trades. And the last option is related to custom symbols, where we are only allowed to trade on these specific symbols. For example, here I am selecting GBP, USD. And if I want to enter a trade with a symbol other than GPUSD, here, when I execute a trade, you can see that a warning is issued for me. But if I enter the symbol that I am currently on right now, you can see that it automatically, as you can see, executes a trade for me here. Just make sure to pay attention to this point. In some brokers, trading symbols may have suffixes or prefixes, so be sure to pay attention to the letters you enter here. For example, here USDJPY has a lowercase b as a suffix, so after writing USDJPY in uppercase letters, I need to add a b as the suffix. Beaver. The next tab is the Trades tab, which displays my trading information. The first section is related to the starting balance of the day. In this section, we can see the starting balance of the week, daily profit, the amount of weekly profit or loss, sequential profit, sequential loss, as well as daily drawdown and weekly drawdown. As soon as we enter a trade, it identifies the daily drawdown and weekly drawdown for us and displays them in this section. By clicking on the Data tab, the information contained in this tab is also displayed for us in the lower section, making it easy to use the other tabs as well. The next tab is related to the Take Profit tab and setting the stop loss. And if we activate these two options, if our trade does not have a take profit and stop loss, it will issue a warning for us. For example, here I disable the stop loss and take profit and activate the two options for take profit and stop loss limits here. If I enter a trade, a warning will be issued for me. Here, the warning is displayed. And it tells me that I haven't set a stop loss for the trade I executed. In the lower section, we can set a time range for sending the take profit and stop loss warning. For example, if I enter a trade and I want to set a stop loss or take profit for it 5, 10, or 15 minutes later, I can use this section for that purpose. Or if I forget to set a stop loss and I want the expert advisor to issue a warning and remind me, we can use this part. If I set the number to 5, it will be 5 minutes after opening the position and entering the trade. If I don't set a take profit for my trade, a warning will be issued for me. In the section below, we can also set a limit for moving stop loss and moving take profit. For traders who act emotionally in the market and frequently move their stop loss and take profit, this option can help prevent them from doing so. For example, if I set a stop loss and take profit, in this section I can specify the limit for how much I am allowed to move the stop loss and take profit. The default value is set to 3, meaning that if I move my stop loss and take profit, there's no problem moving the load. but if I try to move it for the fourth time, I will receive a warning. It's exactly the same for take profit, meaning I am allowed to move the take profit a maximum of 3 times, and if I move it for the fourth time, I will receive a warning. I can set this value here. The last tab is related to the news tab, where we can view high importance news in this section. The first option is related to the pre-news limit, and the second option is for the post-news limit. If we activate these two options, we can view the periods before the news is released and after the news has passed in this section. We can set the news alert display time in the section below. If I set the number 10 here, it means that 10 minutes before the news arrives, the expert will display the news for me in this section, and by clicking on the All News option, we can view the news. And here we can see that there is no news for today. By clicking on the Last News option, we can also see the latest news, but as we can see, no news is displayed for us in this section, and there is currently no news for today. In the lower section, we can see the 8 major currencies, and by enabling each option, we can view the news related to that currency and set a limit restriction. For example, here where I have set the number 10, it will display the news for me 10 minutes before a high importance news event. And by enabling the second option, it will also show me the news 10 minutes after the event. This is considered a high importance news window for me, so that I either avoid trading during this period or manage my trades properly. By clicking on the minimize option, we can easily manage this panel just like the main panel and switch it to the minimum size to prevent the chart from becoming cluttered. Well friends, we've reached the end of the tutorial for this expert advisor. We would be happy if you share your comments and suggestions with us in the comment section.